Hi, my name's Andy Berta. I'm the salesperson, or rather comic guy, for Collectible Chaos on Pulteney Street. Particularly, I was hired for my comic knowledge, and that's why I'm here. I haven't been to any other shops, and what are my experiences of those? If Wally's is still open, which I presume it is now, I've definitely been in Wally's shop. Not to say anything bad about Wally, but yes, he's his own person, and usually go in there and it's usually a very grumpy reception and a very cold, hostile reception.
You come back this afternoon or some other time, because it's no good. I've got too much to do today.
But yeah, very odd gentleman, that one.
He has some bad days and he has some good days.
I've also been to the Adelaide Comic Centre, I think it's called, which is run by Tony. I'm not sure of his last name, but a man named Tony.
We're spoiled in Adelaide because we have 4 places that you can browse at and have a choice. The worst thing for a collectible store is a monopoly, and thankfully we don't have that, and people frequent all 4.
And then of course there's Pulp Fiction Comics, which is owned by Pete. Now, Pete used to work at Wally's.
I used to work for Wally. I mean, it was a dream job for me to be able to work in a comic store, full stop. Now in retrospect, I treat that as almost, it's like a bit of, in some ways, it's akin to an apprenticeship. You know, that there are things you learn how to do and things you learn how not to do.
Pete was always the, light shining in the gloom, because you could talk to him. He was very passionate as well. He was really easy to approach, easy to talk to. I mean, that was the first time, second time that I've been in there. He was in there as well, and just started talking to him like that. He ended up finally living his dream, sort of thing, and opening up his own comic store.
I get a wage myself, but it's by no means a wage that can sustain a family or something like that. But yeah, it's going well. It's growing, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think more 2.5 years later than I was in the beginning.
It's something that you're always going to have problems with. Comics are not really the way to get rich, quick anyway. You're always going to have problems. You don't make much money off of them, and you always go into these stores and the poor guys are, how are you going? Oh, usual, this, that and the other.
There are people that actually buy one product at one store, another at another, even though they all have the same products. And we appreciate that everyone has to pay their bills, and most of the customers do the right thing for us as well. There was no industry in Australia, and I thought the next best thing to having the superheroes in my life was to do them as a job. And of course, for the first few years of my adult life, I worked in jobs that paid well, but I didn't enjoy. And then when I was able to, I set myself a goal that I would open a store which catered to people like myself who enjoyed the characters and were able to continually get their favourite characters and learn all about the industry, which was big in America and England.
We will get in what customers want, and we also completely are well aware of everyone is an individual. Everyone has different tastes. So while we can try and cater for all of those, as many of those people as possible, if someone wants a particular item and I don't particularly like it, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, what we found was by doing a variety of products, now if a family comes in, the wife would look at products of TV related, the father would look at statues and DVDs, and the children would look at the appropriate products that they're interested in. So that was our main problem that we had when we started. We didn't know what products to stock, but we believe that by asking people, seeing the negatives and the positives, we were able to expand to the stage where everybody that walked in the door felt comfortable.
I can't ever make a tough sale, if you know what I mean. I can't go through the used car salesman technique of trying to sell a book.
I don't want to sell it. We're not people, I don't want to be a salesperson. I'm not a used car salesperson. I don't want to, you know, flog some stuff out. I just want to show them, you know, this is a great comic. I've read this. This is terrific.
We wouldn't push anything that we thought wasn't good because of our own personal tastes, for example. I think that again is another thing that I actually wish that the other stores, well, I hope the other stores do, because if we just get better comic stores, then it's better for everyone, really. Any real other medium with which to tell a story, graphic novels and comic books are just another medium. It's like if someone says they don't like comic books, then that's, to me, a bit like saying they don't like movies. Every genre is represented in comic books and graphic novels, and I think that's just being discovered.
Comics to me are never the real world. It's always some exaggerated fantasy world of, you know, enjoyment and stuff that you never see in real life. You never get to do in real life. You'll never get to have Wolverine's claws. You'll never get to, you know, wield a sword and hack down orcs or anything like that. So it's great to see characters doing that, and imagine yourself perhaps as doing that, which is why, you know, video games and stuff appeal to so many people, because it's something that you don't get to do ever.
Books are always going to be around. I don't see the novel ever dying out. People actually like to have a book in their hands and read rather than look at a screen. And so comic books are just a natural extension of that. If anything, comic books are almost like a bridge between a pure text-based novel and a motion picture.
I think the comic or novels, anything like that, will always have their strengths in drawing on that people's imagination, drawing on their nightmares, drawing on their horrors. What you see on screen isn't exactly what that person has as his nightmare, his fear. Also, of course, comic books don't really need that much of a budget. You can do absolutely anything. You can have an intergalactic space war and it looks fantastic on panels and in someone's mind, but try and put that onto television or cinema, and it costs a lot of money. So yeah, there are limits, I guess, for cinema. What would the best power I'd ever like to have? Definitely the penitent stare. It'll be one of those terrific powers that, you know, stare into their eyes and they feel the pain of all of the bad that they have done before them, you know, all of the misery and anguish that they've caused everybody, to feel that all in, you know, moments at a time. Friday brain, I don't care. That would be justice to me. There's a lot of justice that doesn't go on in the world, that isn't enough there, and if that was the one power I could have, I would love to have that power.
Possibly Green Lantern, because he's a normal human with a weapon that is powered by his mind, rather than a power that's generated from the body. Having a keener sense of smell, just heightened 5 senses would be fantastic. That's all. Yeah.
Conan's, definitely. If you could count him as a superhero. If I could remember the exact quote that Arnold Schwarzenegger says in the movie, that to see your enemies fall before you and hear the lamentation of their women.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
That would be my idea of enjoyable.
And yeah, life isn't as easy as going into an inn and putting down your gold coins or going off and searching a treasure. Yeah, we live in a completely different world. So again, yeah, it's good to read that sort of thing.